Somewhere out in space live the Herculoids, and apparently they're kind of cuddly. Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Subliteral Network. I make art and comics, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe and to leave your feedback in the comments. I post art daily, 5 days a week on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and this is a roundup of that work in case you missed it, with a little more detailed description added. You can read my Una the Cape Bunny comics free at radiocomics.com, and please visit my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work. All these links are in my description and bio, and please watch till the end so you don't miss anything. Now, I always feel that there are certain requirements if you're going to be able to draw certain kinds of comics. And if you're going to do heroic adventure, you've kind of got to be able to draw the handsome hero and the beautiful woman. I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff that I think has to go in there. But these are just skills that you can pick up as an artist, as a comic artist, and as a cartoonist. You know, they become part of your skill set, and you apply them as needed. So looking back at some of the classic newspaper comic strips, the Russ Manning drawing Tarzan, Alex Raymond drawing Flash Gordon, you know, even way up through the 60s and the 70s, where you have the cartoonists that are doing like the romance strips, the Dr. Kildare strips. They all could do that. They could draw a variety of characters, but the hero was always chiseled, distinctive, and handsome. And his girlfriend or some beautiful woman that he encountered was always gorgeous. A lot of people are more familiar with this when John Romita started drawing the Spider-Man comic strips in the place of Steve Ditko. Now, like Steve Ditko started the strip and got a lot of great design working in there. Most of Spider-Man's more interesting villains were designed by Steve Ditko, and they're still in use today. But when John Romita took over the comic, he had a history of drawing like the love comics, the romance comics that girls used to read back in those days. The romantic elements of Spider-Man took on more importance because he was emphasizing that, and he had the skill to produce the kind of romantic heroines that you saw in the book. So having that really increases your versatility, and I'd say what John Romita did with Spider-Man would give him a greater another angle to his humanity, something that was more believable, because he had the skills to do the sort of more classic, standard, beautiful characters that you see in comics. So what I'm showing you here was really just part of a test page. The rest of it is really just, you know, you have to really practice to draw comics and to do the requirements of the form if you're drawing like superhero comics. So that's why I'm only showing the part of this that came out the best and what I wanted to achieve and what I hope to continue to achieve. Okay, you may not know, but way back in the 60s, Hanna-Barbera had a line of superhero cartoons that were shown on Saturday morning. This one is from a show called The Herculoids, which featured, okay, let's see if this doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to say it this way anyway. It features a superpowered caveman, his wife and son, and a group of monsters that he trained to fight off interplanetary threats. That is just it's gotta be the most LSD-induced idea ever. But these characters were designed by the great Alex Toth, who I gotta look this up. I'm pretty sure he had something to do with the overall concept and the storylines too. One thing that he mentioned was that half the stuff that he designed, they would do for pitches to the network, and they would just pack it full of stuff, knowing that half of it would be rejected on certain grounds or whatever, but they just went wild and put all these elements into their presentations, and if it got approved, it got approved, but if it didn't, you know, they would cut it out. So that's sort of how they were just throwing creativity at these cartoons. So I had done a bunch of small drawings of kind of a small-bodied, compact Tara, who was the wife of Xandor, who was the leader of the Herculoids. So Tara is sitting here hugging Gleep, who was one of two blobby amoeba-like shapeshifters. And they were really like, they would do these horrible things in battle. They would just push rocks onto people. They were really like fighting animals. But Gleep and Gloop were like the cutest and the cuddliest of them. And they seemed to have a particular idea that they were very protective and affectionate with Tara. Just sort of a little side thing in the cartoons. But those elements are kind of missing. Kind of a little humor and a little warmth to a lot of superhero concepts that come out now. I think animators have a better hand on that than comic book people most of the time, as I've seen. And Alex Toth, he just was able, he had such a developed dramatic sense that he knew how to sell drama and add humor and humanity to what he was doing. I don't want to say he was an underappreciated talent, but we never really saw the full extent of his talents. Even though he was constantly working, there was constantly more that he could do. You know, the guy was nearly an inexhaustible well of creativity. This drawing is of Yaya Han, who is a famous cosplayer in one of about 2 or 3 Space Girl costumes that she designed and made for herself. So I think this is like the second one. So I drew it with she used to use a gun that was basically kind of a converted, I think it was a converted one of those Nerf guns. And later on she made her own original pistol for one of her other suits. What I really wanted to get in there and paint that silver. I was using Sketchbook Pro at the time, and I was really pushing the capabilities of it. So I said, all right, I've never really painted somebody in silver clothing before, so let's give it a shot. I went a little darker than I was thinking on an instinctual level. It's silver, it's bright, but no, I started dark, and I put bright stuff on it, which when I looked at it later, I said, yeah, this turned out okay. You know, if I do silver again, I'm really going to use a lot of dark on it. So I'm sitting there sketching, and it comes up, and she's got this big boob window, and she has some kind of, she described the push-up bra that she's using, and it's some kind of engineering miracle that just produces this insane cleavage. So I just got these tentacle monsters kind of pulling the cleavage open, just to add a little bit of a little spice to the thing. And I liked the way the tentacles came out because they look slimy and green and alien. I paint a fair number of Space Girls, but this one I really just like the way it came out on a lot of different levels. Well, I'd like to thank you, all my subscribers, and especially you, all my new subscribers. You know, I'm very happy that you like hearing a little something more about the work that I'm doing, and I hope that the videos are entertaining, and really hope that you can come back and watch more.